Hi everybody, this is Tina's Crafty Ink Spot. I have another technique for you today. Today we're going to be doing this fun card using gilding foils or gilding flakes. It's a really fun technique and I hope you enjoy it today. So we're just going to jump right in and get started. So to make this, we're using what they call gilding flakes. I put mine in a container. You can see it's relatively deep because when you're dealing with these gilding flakes, they're very fine, and even opening the container, you gotta be careful because see, they're very fluffy and lightweight, and it's a foil. It's a real fine, and you see it sticks to everything. So we're going to be using those, and as you see, they fly everywhere, so be very careful using these. There's several companies that make these. I think Nuvo's got some. These I've had for years. I think I bought just a couple sheets of gilding foil at the craft store on sale, and then I cut it up and make the flakes with it. Because you can use gilding foil on picture frames, cards. As I'm finding, it'll stick to your nails. You can probably just clear coat over it, that kind of thing. So for our card base, I have a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 sheet of gray granite, and I have a mat for that out of the copper foil. And I wanted to show you something really quick with this, a trick I use with my foils and my other papers that I'm going to be covering, because we're going to have a piece over this. So why lose all of that good foil there? So what I do is I just take, this is the size I need, which is, it should be 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm going to line up about a 1/2 inch in, 3/4 inch in, and then start my cut 1/2 inch to 3/4 in. And I'm actually just going to remove the center of this foil because I don't need it. We're only kind of using the frame. So if you haven't done this before, it's an easy way to save pieces of your foil. Cut it all the way through, but so now you just have a frame, and here you have some scrap that you can use, and I keep all those pieces. So I just wanted to show that quick little trick, and then that's going to match right onto our gray granite. And now I have a piece that's 3 3/4 by 5, and this is just plain Whisper white cardstock. And there's several ways to use foils, anything from deco foil to gilding foils. There's gilding foil glue, there's mask, you can use tape. There's a million different ways you can do foiling. You can use embossing powder. Use fine embossing powder, do your image, and run it through a laminator. Well, this technique today, we're not going to need a laminator or heat or anything like that. Now to start this, normally what I would use on this is my Sizzix double-sided adhesive. And the reason we're not using that today for this particular one is, as you see, I don't have enough left. I've been playing with this technique and didn't realize I ran out, but that's okay. We are going to just use a double-sided tape. This is just Sukwang double-sided tape. It comes in all different sizes, widths, and it's just a nice double-sided tape. So what we do, I'm going to grab my mat here so my tape doesn't stick to my paper. And we're just going to take and put some of this double-sided tape on here. You want to go all the way to the edge. Oops, and I taped it to my paper anyway, you guys. I think we're starting this video over, I can tell you that right now. But that's okay, we'll be alright. You know what, I'll just do a blooper video later on this. Oh, I'm sticking to everything here. So I'm going to put my second strip down. Go butt it up right up against your double-sided tape. The other good thing you can do when you do this, that'll work for foils, is say you have a die-cut leaf that you want to foil. You just use your double-sided tape, die-cut your image, and you'll put your foil on the same way we're going to do today. So I've got that down on there. Now I'm just going to trim the excess away. I guess I should have brought a trash can over, huh? Okay, so let's trim this away. See, normally I use my Sizzix double-sided adhesive sheets and create an entire sheet the size of it. And I can use it for die cuts, I can use it for this technique, whatever I need. So we're going to make sure that's down really well. Get more mat here. Now, to do these gilding flakes, I'm going to bring in a piece of just plain white copy paper. And I fold it so that I kind of have a pour spout. Because you're going to see these little flakes go everywhere. And this way you can just pour them back into your container. So we're going to remove the... and expose the adhesive. And now we're going to bring in our gilding flakes. And these are, like I said, don't sneeze. Do not sneeze. If you have a ceiling fan in your sheet cave, turn it off. So now I'm just going to take some of these flakes and randomly put them on my sheet here. You can move them around. And you're going to just kind of burnish it in. Burnishing, rub it in, so to speak, and cover your sticky areas. Look at all those pretty colors that go. I have these flakes right here are combining copper, silver, and gold. Is what I have in my bin. You can do a solid color when you buy these flakes. I believe Nuvo is the name of them. I don't know. I haven't bought them. Like I said, I just buy the sheets when they're on sale at the craft store, and I end up just kind of chopping them up and putting them in a bin. So we're just going to make sure that all of our adhesive area is covered. Just kind of rub it in. And see, it really sticks to you. But wouldn't that be pretty on your nails? Okay, so now I'm just going to lightly try to put some of this back in my container. At least the big pieces. You don't want too many really tiny granule pieces into your container. Most of those you'll throw away. only because when you burnish it, and then as you see when we brush it, it won't be as shiny if they're just tiny little crumbs, because you kind of want the full pieces to show up. So I'm just getting the big pieces off. And I'm going to try to pick up just a couple of these big ones, put them in here. And then I suggest always put your lid back on. Like I said, you sneeze, turn on a heat gun, anything, this stuff is going to be everywhere. And then by just using this little sheet, I can just put it right in the trash. But, so now I dumped it out. Now you want something, a stiff bristle brush. And I also use just a regular Stampin' Sponge and a stiff bristle brush. And all we're going to do is kind of go over it and get the excess off. You probably could use a bigger brush, but I do a lot of small detailed items, so this is just the brush I have dedicated to this. Isn't that pretty? Really shiny. I'll see if I can move in so you guys can see it a little better. Just use your brush. Get your excess off. I think the copper in this is truly my favorite, so that's why we kind of went to the copper frame on this card. Oop, see, tapped a little much and went everywhere. So now, just to, this is actually a beautiful background all by itself. I mean, look at the shine and the shimmer and the different colors. It's just gorgeous. But we're going to step it up a little bit. We're going to bring in our Big Shot and our floral frame. Let me back out here so you can see what we're doing here. And this is one of those dynamic folders. They call them that because they're a lot thicker and it's a more dynamic image than a standard emboss. Now for this particular one, I wanted my images to be more, the flowers themselves to be inlaid, okay? So that means that I want the name side down. Okay, if you want them inlaid, the name side goes down. If you want them popped up, name side up. So we're going to do it the opposite way for this one. I've done it both ways on this card and it looks really good. So whatever your preference is. So we're just going to sandwich that in there. And run it through our Big Shot. Oop. It's hard to run the Big Shot when you have paper under it. I'm used to my non-stick space. I'm going to go back through because I want it to be nice and strong. Now we can move that out of our way. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? See, it's just a beautiful background all by itself. And simple. So, but we're going to step it up just a little bit again. And for this, I'm going to use StazOn, jet black StazOn. You could use other colors of StazOn if you have them, but what I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to drag it across the top of my card. And what it's going to do is add these accents around my flowers. So it kind of gives it the tarnished metal look. So you can do as little or as much as you want. I don't want a whole lot because I want to keep my metal, my different colors of metal showing. So I'm just kind of going to highlight around some of the flowers that I want to really pop. Oh, and I would take a baby wipe and wipe this off because you kind of want to make sure your gilding foil's off. So I'll clean that off camera. Okay, now we take, and for this you guys all know I'm a glue person, but for this I'm going to use my tape because tape seems to stick better. Your tape runner sticks better to foils. So I'm just going to go around the edges and try to get close to your edges because this has been embossed, so you want to make sure that it stays down. Secure it down. See, that's pretty all by itself. Isn't that nice? And it's a fun technique. It's very elegant. So now I'm going to take my... Oh, to make this little greeting, I used, and it'll be in the description because I've already forgot the name of it. I'm taking this punch, and since I do want the copper embossed greeting on black, but I also wanted a little copper frame to kind of pull in the frame area. So what we'll do, so we're going to cut out 2 of these in copper. It's kind of the same as doing a long tag, which that's also in my technique ring, how to punch long tags. So if you look for different techniques and you're kind of stale, I have a technique ring that is on my website. If you look under techniques and ideas, and I have over 51 techniques put together in 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 cards, and I'll show that to you. So I'm taking a piece of scrap black, and don't forget your embossing buddy, because whenever you're embossing on black, if you don't use your little embossing buddy to get rid of the static, in which we've got a lot of static going on because of the gilding flakes, so just kind of wipe it off a little bit. And we're going to take our greeting. This greeting is from the painted glass set, and I just thought this script seemed to be perfect for this kind of foiled card. So today we're going to go with the Have a Beautiful Birthday. This would make a very elegant sympathy card too if you need one. Hopefully you don't need one. I have a hard time making sympathy cards unless they are kind of made at the moment. Alright, so I'm just going to get our image on there. When I use Versamark or other inks, it's not, I mean, you have to press down firmly when you use them, but if you leave it on there for just a second, either your inks or your Versamark, it just gives it a chance to absorb into the paper and just gives you a better image. So I'm going to bring in another piece of scrap white. We're going to copper emboss this. Looks like we got it. And then when I use my little scrap, that way I can just pour it right back into my container. I have embossing trays, but I use those when I'm doing mass cards. So let me heat this up. Heat from the back when you're doing a thicker cardstock. Heat from the back a little bit first, and you'll find your embossing will melt faster and easier. See, it takes it no time at all to heat up when you heat the back a little bit. Do you not love copper on black? Look how pretty that is. Ugh. I'm kind of a copper girl. I really like it. So now we're going to take our punch. When you turn your punch upside down, it's easier to line up your image. Most of you probably already know that. And then to create the double background, what I did is I took my tape and on the top lined up my first one where I just want to give it a little bit of matting. Yeah, you got a little bit of matting there. Then we're going to tape the other side and add a little more matting again. And there you go. Okay, gives you a nice little... Okay. Now on the card that I originally did, I used a ribbon that we no longer have, so I felt really bad about that. I thought, you know what? Gold's going to look just as good on this. So what I want to do is take my dimensionals, and I'm going to add a couple dimensionals right in the middle. Take our gold sequin trim. Make sure I know which is my top right there. So there's my top. And all I want to do is a little bit of a loop. So there's a little loop of gold on the top of that. So just stick it down on your dimensionals. Do your loop. And there you go. Now we're going to trim it off. I think we're going to trim it off. Now we're just going to add our dimensionals to attach it to our project. Yes, I add a lot of dimensionals. You guys know that about me. But it helps hold your stuff together too. So I want my rose to show. So let's put it about, maybe I want it this way. No, I don't want to lose my rose, so I'm going to put it here. We've got our little loop there. I can trim off a little bit here where it's hanging off. Now we're just going to attach it. You could either pop this up, the whole thing, with your dimensional strips or dimensionals, but I think on this one I want to glue it down, so I'm going to grab my glue. When you're gluing, always remember to try to get your corners so you don't peel up. A little bit in the middle. My glue's about out. Secure it down. Using the gray granite kind of pulls out some of the silver. And then we're just going to add a couple little pieces of rhinestone crystal. I think I want to put 2 of them right here. It just adds a little more shine to your project. And I'm kind of a bling kind of girl anyway, so where do we want to put? Let's put one there. I love doing random bling. Just kind of captures your eye when the light hits it. Let's do one more big one here. Let's do it up here. Oh, sorry. There we go. There was your simple, quick gilding foil card. So remember, you can use your cardstock that you create to create die cuts. A really cute gilded card is to die cut a leaf set and put it on a card, and it's just elegant and pretty, and I hope this shows you guys the shine and shimmer of this card. But there you go. Thanks for joining me today. As I promised, here's a sample of what my stamping technique and ID ring looks like. Got your cover photo if you need to get a hold of me. I have over 50 techniques where I've typed them up onto 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 sheets, and I've put them in a clear envelope which you can open up and put samples inside of each technique if you would like. Each technique, except for the Versamark, comes with photos and step-by-step instructions, including tips and how-tos and things like that. If you are interested in this, it is on my webpage, tinascraftyinkspot.com, and you can find it under the techniques and ideas, and you'll be able to purchase this directly off of my webpage. If you are international, there is a link on that page where I will be able to ship to you internationally. There's everything from doing your own candied enamel dots, doing easel cards, how to do leather, and it goes on and on. There's over 51 here. I have probably 3 times that in my inventory, but putting them together in such an easy go-to little assortment is a little difficult to put that many techniques. But it saves you from going on to Pinterest or wherever you got to go and look up techniques where you can just say, well, you know, I think I want to do a technique today. Let me flip through here and see what I've got. I hope you like it and enjoy it. Have a great day. Happy stamping.